Development is a fascinating and complex process that occurs throughout our lives. But what exactly is development? In simple terms, development refers to the changes that occur in humans from birth to death. It encompasses physical, cognitive, and emotional changes that shape who we are and how we interact with the world. From the moment we are born, our bodies and minds are constantly growing and evolving. So, what develops? Everything from our physical appearance to our cognitive abilities and emotional responses are all part of the developmental process. For example, during infancy, babies go through rapid physical development, such as gaining weight, growing taller, and developing motor skills. As we get older, our cognitive abilities also develop, allowing us to think, reason, and solve problems more effectively. Our emotions and social abilities also develop as we learn to navigate relationships and understand our own feelings. How and why does development occur? A wide range of factors influences development, including genetics, environment, and individual experiences. For instance, a child's height and hair color are largely determined by genetics, while their environment and experiences shape their language skills and cultural beliefs. Development is a complex interplay between nature and nurture, with both factors playing important roles in shaping who we become. Development occurs in stages or milestones, with each stage building upon the ones before, allowing for continuous growth and progress throughout our lives. Bernard Kaplan once said, "Development does not lurk directly in the people, studied but lives in the perspective used." Early roots of development. Psychological theories and models play a crucial role in understanding the complexities of human development. In this lesson, we explore a range of theories that shaped our understanding of how individuals grow, learn, and develop throughout their lives. We briefly define some of the early psychological theories, such as Spiritism, Mentalism, Dynamism, Functionalism, Behaviorism, Holism, Constructivism, Marxism, Cognitivism, Social Learning, and Information Processing, to comprehensively understand the various approaches to development. Spiritism is a theory that suggests the spirit or soul influences human development and significantly impacts an individual's growth and behaviors. Mentalism emphasizes the role of the mind in shaping development, focusing on cognitive processes and internal mental states. Dynamism explores the ever-changing nature of individuals and believes that development is an ongoing process of adaptation and change to new experiences and challenges. Functionalism takes a more pragmatic approach, emphasizing the importance of understanding how individuals function and adapt within their environment. It examines the purpose and function of behavior and how it contributes to an individual's overall development. Behaviorism focuses on observable behaviors and suggests learning occurs through conditioning and reinforcement. This theory emphasizes the role of the environment in shaping behavior and development. Holism is a perspective that views individuals as interconnected systems. Multiple factors, including social, cultural, and environmental contexts, influence development. This approach recognizes the complexity and interrelationships between different aspects of an individual's life and development. Constructivism highlights the active role of individuals in constructing their knowledge and understanding of the world. It emphasizes the importance of hands-on learning, problem-solving, and critical thinking in promoting development. Marxism is a social theory that focuses on the relationship between individuals and the society in which they live. It suggests social, economic, and political structures, and that power and inequality play a significant role in influencing individual development shape that development. Cognitivism explores the processes of thinking, reasoning, and problem-solving, highlighting the role of cognitive processes in shaping development. This theory emphasizes the importance of internal mental processes in learning and development. Social learning theory suggests that development occurs through observing and imitating others and through the influence of social interactions. It emphasizes the role of modeling and social reinforcement in shaping behavior and development. Information processing theory focuses on the individual's ability to process and make sense of information and influences how individuals gain and store information. It explores how individuals organize and manipulate data and how this affects their development. 4. Summary. Each theory offers unique insights into the factors that shape our growth and learning as individuals. By considering them together, we can develop a more comprehensive understanding of human development processes. Evolving theories. Developmental theories provide frameworks for understanding and explaining how individuals develop and grow. In understanding the development of theories, it is essential to explore the evolving concepts put forth by influential thinkers. Stephen Pepper, Thomas Kuhn, John Dewey, and Barbara Rogoff have all contributed to our understanding of developmental theories, worldviews, and paradigms. Each of these individuals brings a unique perspective to the table, shedding light on the complex nature of knowledge construction and building on the earlier theorist. By examining the different components and relationships within their theories, we can gain a deeper understanding of how these frameworks have evolved. By the end of this lesson, you will reflect on which perspective resonates with you the most and why. Stephen Pepper's worldview theory emphasizes the importance of perspective in understanding human development. This American pragmatist philosopher argued in his most famous book, Worldviews, that each individual has a unique point of view shaped by their experiences and environment. This perspective is crucial in understanding how individuals interpret and make sense of their world. For example, a child growing up in a city will have a different perspective on nature and the environment compared to a child growing up in a rural area. Pepper's contribution to developmental theory lies in his exploration of the different components that make up a worldview or theory. He suggests theories comprise 4 components: field, form, level, and mode. The field refers to the subject or area of study, while form encompasses the structure and organization of the theory. Level deals with the scale at which the theory operates, and mode refers to the perspective or viewpoint of the theory. By considering these components, Pepper emphasizes the multidimensional nature of theories and how they evolve to incorporate new understandings. Building upon Pepper's work, Thomas Kuhn, arguably one of the most influential philosophers of the 20th century, introduced the idea of paradigm shifts in scientific knowledge. He argues scientific disciplines operate within a particular paradigm, which comprises a set of shared assumptions, beliefs, and methods. However, when anomalies or contradictory evidence arise, it can lead to a crisis in the dominant paradigm. Kuhn suggests these crises can lead to a paradigm shift, in which a new framework emerges to explain the anomalies. This shift not only changes the theories and concepts within a discipline, but also redefines the way researchers approach their work. Kuhn's ideas highlight the dynamic nature of theories and the importance of being open to change and new perspectives. Thomas Kuhn's theory offers a different lens through which to view human development: the paradigm. Kuhn argues that scientific progress occurs through shifts in paradigms or overarching frameworks for understanding the world. In developmental theory, this means that our understanding of human development is not static, but evolves as we adopt new paradigms. An example of a paradigm shift in developmental theory is the shift from behaviorism to cognitive developmental theory, which emphasized the role of internal mental processes in development. Another scholar who contributed to the discussion is philosopher-psychologist and prolific writer John Dewey. Dewey emphasized the importance of the scientific method in the development and refinement of theories. He believed we should ground theories in empirical evidence and subject to scrutiny and revision based on new data. Dewey's approach to theory development encourages critical thinking and the continuous refinement of ideas considering new information. Dewey believed in the power of experience in shaping children's development. He emphasized the importance of hands-on learning and active participation in the learning process. Dewey's theory can be illustrated through an example. Imagine a child learning about plants. Instead of simply reading about plants in a book, Dewey would suggest that the child can plant and nurture a seed, observe its growth, and reflect on how their actions impact the plant's development. This experiential approach allows children to engage with the subject and make sense of it in their own way. In contrast, Barbara Rogoff, who wrote The Cultural Nature of Human Development, 2003, focuses on the idea of development as a transactional process. According to Rogoff, the cultural and social contexts in which they grow up influence children's development. For example, in some cultures, we may expect children to take on adult responsibilities at an early age, while in others, we may encourage them to explore and play freely. The transactional approach recognizes that development is not just an individual process, but shaped by the interactions and relationships between children and their immediate environment. This perspective highlights the importance of considering cultural and social factors when studying child development. Different cultures may have different conceptions of what we consider normal or desirable in terms of child development. Rogoff's work reminds us of the importance of considering cultural diversity and the potential biases in our theories and understandings of development. Development as teleological. Developmental psychology theories provide valuable frameworks for understanding human growth and change. Yet, hidden within these theories are assumptions that can sometimes go unnoticed. Another assumption is the idea of development as teleological, meaning that it assumes a predetermined end goal or purpose for human development. This assumption suggests individuals are progressing towards a specific outcome, and that this larger telos guides their development or purpose. While this assumption can provide a sense of structure and direction in understanding human development, it also raises questions about the complexity and variability of individual experiences. One way to understand the assumption of development as teleological is to consider the concept of normal development. Developmental theories often define certain milestones or stages individuals should reach at particular ages. For example, Piaget's theory of cognitive development outlines distinct stages of thinking that individuals should progress through in a linear fashion. This teleological assumption suggests all individuals should follow this predetermined path, and that deviation from this path may be seen as abnormal or problematic. However, individuals develop at different rates and in different ways. Some may skip stages entirely or experience them in a different order. By recognizing the limitations of this assumption, we can better appreciate the diversity of human development. We can see another implication of the assumption of development as teleological in the idea of intervention and support. Developmental theories often focus on identifying potential risks or delays in development and providing interventions to correct them. This assumes that individuals are not on track to reach the predetermined telos of development, and that the role of psychologists or caregivers is to guide them back on course. While interventions can be beneficial in certain cases, it is essential to remember that development is not a straight line from point A to point B. Each individual's path is unique, and the assumption of a predetermined telos may limit our understanding of human development's rich and multifaceted nature. Development, evolution, and history. Development is teleological, meaning it has a direction and an end. But does this apply universally to all aspects of development? To explore this notion, let's consider the difference between evolution, development, progress, and history. Evolution refers to the gradual change and adaptation of living organisms. It is driven by natural selection, where individuals with helpful traits are more likely to survive and reproduce. Development refers to an individual's progressive growth and maturation, whether it be a living organism or a concept. Progress in development implies positive change towards a desired outcome. Last, history encompasses the recorded events, experiences, and actions that have shaped the world. For evolution, we often debate the teleological perspective. While evolution does not have a predetermined end goal, we can see it as directional because it usually leads to the emergence of more complex and specialized organisms. However, this direction is not universal, as sometimes simplicity and adaptability can also be advantageous. With development, it can be teleological as individuals grow and mature towards a specific end state. For example, the stages of human development meant from infancy to adulthood follow a relatively consistent progression. However, it is essential to note that not all individuals will reach the same end state, as genetics, environment, and personal experiences shape the outcome. Progress and history often get intertwined with the concept of development. Progress implies positive change, often towards a specific goal or desired outcome. However, we consider progress subjective and dependent on cultural, social, and individual perspectives. History is the record of past events, experiences, and actions. It provides a contextual backdrop for understanding how development has unfolded. While history does not possess a specific end goal, it can shape and influence future development. For example, the lessons learned from historical events can inform our decisions and actions, leading to progress or regression depending on how we apply that knowledge. Consider Baldwin's perspective on development, which centered on the idea that it is natural and good. He believed that as humans grow, they naturally progress through different stages of development, each building on the previous one. For example, a child learns to crawl, walk, and run. We see this natural progression as a positive and essential part of development. Baldwin's view aligns with Piaget's theory of cognitive development, which also emphasizes children's natural progression of thinking abilities. Now, contrast this idea with Dewey's view of development as a reflection of culture. He believed that culture plays a significant role in shaping an individual's development. According to Dewey, humans are not just passive recipients of cultural influences, but active participants who shape their development through interactions with the world around them. For example, a child growing up in a collectivist culture may learn to prioritize the group's needs over their own. In contrast, a child in an individualistic culture may learn to be more independent and self-reliant. Dewey's perspective resonates with Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, which emphasizes the importance of social interaction and cultural context in development. While Baldwin and Dewey may have had different perspectives on development, their views contribute to our understanding of how humans grow and change. Baldwin's emphasis on the natural progression of development highlights the importance of individual maturation and the sequential nature of learning. Dewey's focus on culture and social interaction reminds us that development is not solely determined by internal factors, but deeply influenced by the world. By considering both perspectives, we can gain a more comprehensive understanding of the complex process of human development.